Well, Brazilian Consul General to Istanbul, Paulo Roberto Franca, joins us now live in the studio to speak further about this election victory. We've heard so many, actually, comparisons now to the U.S. 2016 election and its divisiveness, as well as the choice of candidates on the table. Is Bolsonaro the Trump of the tropics?
No, of course not. This is a narrative that has been painted by the left. I'm not saying any comment with respect to President Trump, but the question is that Bolsonaro has his own personality, and he represents an important part of Brazil. You know, there is happiness now in Brazil because of this election. And he is, you mentioned him at the outset of this program as being far right. Let me correct you. He is a conservative, he is liberal. You know, as conservative and liberal, we have parties across the world. So Bolsonaro represents this. The left has been in power in Brazil for 14 years. It has made a mess. It has made a mess in terms of corruption. It has made a mess in bad management. And Bolsonaro has grabbed the banners to fight for corruption, to fight for security of the citizen.
But you say he's conservative, yet he's liberal. He has said so many controversial things. I mean, it seems logical that some Brazilians are very worried that he will hinder progress on social issues, including LGBTQ rights, women's rights. He said some controversial things on abortion, and that he will move Brazil closer to a military state that he actually admired.
The question of military state in Brazil has been very much misrepresented. In the 1964, when there was the military coup, there was a war in Brazil. You know, there was a situation in Brazil where there were clashes. There was a very unsatisfied population with a number of issues that were happening with the previous government. And then later on, it came the guerrilla. There was guerrilla in Brazil. There was terrorism. So you cannot only talk about what happened in Brazil in that period by representing specifically what the military did. You have to look on the other side as well.
But what about what he says about imprisoning political dissidents?
No, he didn't say that, and this is not correct.
Has that been mistranslated?
No, it has been mistranslated. I watched this morning his first speech as elected president, and it was a wonderful piece of speech in terms of what he wants to do with Brazil. It was respect. He showed respect for the Constitution. He pledged to respect freedom of expression. He pledged to enhance justice in Brazil. So these are elements that we are eager to have in Brazil.
I think the issue is, from a perspective from outside Brazil, they see him making extremely controversial comments that talk about kind of cracking down on social issues that many see as progress, and just the talk against political dissidents, even if you say it's mistranslated, that he does qualify as this Trump-esque character. Why do you say he is not Trump?
Because he's not Trump.
But how so? I mean, is he not as kind of a loose cannon as Trump, or is he actually more socially progressive than Trump?
No, I think that you have to look Bolsonaro as a phenomenon of Brazilian politics. Okay, he has raised his voice for some of the banners that we need. Population was in need for that. You mentioned the question of crime, security.
I was just going to say that. I mean, are Brazilians just so desperate to see law and order in their country that they are willing to sacrifice perhaps certain social rights issues?
No.
They don't even have to sacrifice that, you're saying?
They don't have to sacrifice. But we have to impose the rule of law. What happens in Brazil nowadays, and this was something that happened throughout the government of the Workers' Party, is that if someone commits a crime, immediately there is a lawyer, there is someone in the police station to defend his rights. But what about the rights of the victim? The rights of those that have been abused, the rights of those that have been killed, you know? So this is something that we have to look for. And Bolsonaro expresses admirably this will of the people.
Are we looking at a Duterte-like scenario, what we've seen in the Philippines?
No, I don't think so, because he has said in a very fiercely way that he's going to fight within the framework of the Constitution. Okay. And our Constitution is very strict in terms of respect of human rights, in terms of respect of freedom of expression.
Will he improve the standard of living for the poor, though, which was why the left succeeded, really, for so many years in Brazil?
The left has given this narrative to the media, and the media has bought this narrative without investigating a little bit further. The question in Brazil
did improve for the poorest of Brazil. It did go up for the first time.
It went up because the economy was going up. It went up because commodities had a very good price. What we need to do, and this is something that he pledged to do, and I think that if he does, we are going to be very happy in Brazil to see this great nation develop, is we need freedom for the entrepreneurs. Legislation in Brazil has been very restrictive. Entrepreneurs cannot do their business. So he pledged that he's going to do this. He's going to implement a more liberal economy. And this is what we need. We need to create employment, which is something that, of course, will run into the economy in a very positively and virtuous way.
Okay. Ambassador Franca, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. And let me say very briefly, congratulations to Turkey and to the Turkish people for their National Day.